Hey everyone, we're going to talk about something today that's always been important to me. Well, not always, but since I was a teenager, and even more important to me since I became a professional cook. It grows native like a weed in the woodlands of Appalachia. You can smell it from a mile away. That's right, we're talking about the ramp. Or if you're one of those fancy types, the wild leek or spring onion. I haven't made a lot of these videos, so I don't really have a format. I've got some facts about the ramp. I've got some videos about cleaning them, and a little bit about how to find them. Not forage them. I don't know anything about that. The term that we use to describe these wild onions that pop up in the spring, ramp, is derived from Rampcam, which is a name for the bear leek that grows wild in Europe, a relative of the ramp that we have here in Appalachia. There's a few different ways to acquire ramps. The most obvious would be to go out and look for them in the woods if you're from Appalachia, or a few of the other places that they grow wild. But if you're like me and you have a pretty busy schedule, or you don't really feel like going walking through the woods, you more enjoy the cooking and eating aspect of them, I've got a couple tips that might be able to help you. Around the time of ramp season, I started going in yard sale groups or the community watch page where I'm from here on Campbell's Creek, and started letting people know that I'm going to be looking for ramps, that I want to buy ramps, to let me know whenever you go hunting for ramps. And I actually, most of the ramps that I've been able to get my hands on this year have came from acquaintances that I've made on Facebook, or even my Facebook friends have seen me looking for them and have tagged me in posts of other people selling them or what have you. Another really effective way to get ramps, depending on where you live, is just to keep your eyes open for people sitting on the side of the road. Most of the time with a truck and a lawn chair and a big sign that says ramps. I've also gotten some like that this year, and that's how I've gotten my hands on them in the past. Also, if you have friends that cook in restaurants professionally, a lot of times local restaurants will have foragers that they stay in contact with during the different seasons of wild vegetables. Around the different seasons of wild vegetables, so they may be able to point you in the right direction as well. We also have ramps in our farmers market here in Charleston. They had a big box of them just 2 days ago, and I stopped by to check out how big they were, see if I could find any big bunches of them for cheap, and they were sold out. Seems like a lot of people got the memo at the farmers market before I did, but they said that they would be getting a restock a couple times this year. So now that we have our ramps, we've got to clean them. Now, it's a little time consuming, but it pays off when you finally eat them. I always start my ramps in the sink just to get off the big clumps of dirt and get underneath this little slimy skin that they have. This one doesn't have a lot of roots on it. But whenever I worked in restaurants and we cleaned them with our knives, you would do it like this. Make sure you get really close to the bulb so you don't waste a lot of flavor. Take your knife, scrape down the stalk of the ramp, getting rid of all that slimy skin. Then whenever you've got it all balled up around the end of it, you pick it up, grab the skin, slide it off. It's really clean and you don't waste any of it at all. Now, the faster and easier way to get it done, and the way that I learned how to do it, and most of you have probably seen people doing it, is just grabbing a hold of the top of a slimy piece of skin, peeling it all the way down to the end. This one doesn't have a lot of roots on it either. But you want to use the tips of your fingers. I don't have any nails, so it's extra hard. You just get underneath those roots and then it's cleaned. But cleaning ramps is one of the good uses for children, or a good way to bond with family members. But if if you have a big mess of ramps like this, nobody wants to help you. So you're stuck alone with your thoughts, wondering, what would I do if I lived in Quebec, where it's a threatened species, and I wasn't allowed to sell it or buy it? I'd probably just go to Ontario to buy them. After spending a lot of time out in the cold peeling these ramps, I finally came to what felt like an end. After you're done removing the husk of the ramps, I suggest doing this if you're not going to be using them in the next week or so that you can properly preserve them. I'm going to make some other videos about preservation and different cooking recipes with ramps in the future. But for now, I'm going to remove all of the green parts from the bulbs and get everything really separated. There's different things that you can do with the leaves, different things that you can do with the bulbs, and I'm just going to throw the roots in the ground and hopefully I get some ramps next year. In West Virginia, we love our ramps. Through Wikipedia alone, I found out about a few festivals that take place here in West Virginia. You've got the Richwood Ramps and Fest. You've got the Elkins Ramps and Rails, which, if I am correct, contains a ramp eating contest. Core, West Virginia, holds a yearly ramp dinner with a wildflower walk, which sounds pretty nice if you ask me. And the Wild Ramp in Huntington holds Stink Fest. Just a second. Since Huntington isn't too far away from me, I decided to look into the Wild Ramp, the place that holds the Stink Fest. And let me tell you, if every city had a place like the Wild Ramp, this country would be a lot better. They're a non-profit organization that is focused on maintaining a self-sustaining food market in different communities. They have a commercial kitchen inside of the facilities for different food service operations in the city to rent, so that they don't have to have their actual own kitchen, which is a huge help to small businesses. Coming from somebody who used to run a taco cart, I would probably still be running a taco cart if we had commercial kitchens here in Charleston. And something else amazing that the Wild Ramp does is they have a SNAP program. And for people that need assistance, able to get fresh vegetables, especially ones grown by West Virginian farmers, is something that's really important to me, and I really respect the Wild Ramp for making their mission. You know, there's a lot of wives' tales about the different things that ramps mean, or there's a lot of people in Appalachia that say that ramps blooming signifies the wellness of spring. And whenever I was looking into the fables and things like that, I found something really interesting. So I'm sure you're all familiar with the city of Chicago. Well, around the river in Chicago, way back, the Native Americans that lived there found these wild onions, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce it, I'll throw it up on the video. But when translated to English, sounds like Chicago. For a long time they thought that it was a different onion, but in 1990 they were doing a study on it and found out that it was actually the ramp that grew near the river in Chicago. Meaning that the city of Chicago is named after ramps. Another really good one that I heard about, and I'm not sure whether this is an old story or if this is something that actually happened, but there was a guy named Jim Cornstalk that worked for the Richwood paper printer, and apparently he laced the ink with ramp juice and played a prank on the entire town with papers that smelled so bad it'd make you want to burn your house down. Hopefully this video helped you find some ramps and know how to take care of them once you got your hands on them. If you learned anything from this video, let me know down below. or let me know anything that you might know about ramps that I didn't mention in my video. I'm going to have a lot more videos coming out with what I do with my ramps that I'm preserving. I've got a lot of plans coming up, so stay tuned if you're interested in things like that. As always, give the Campbell's Creek Garden Project a like on Facebook. If you want to subscribe to me on YouTube, that would be awesome. Thank you. Go get some ramps and get some bad breath.